Hey guys, Brian with Buffalo Beer Reviews. I have something really unique today on the channel. Something that has been 2 years in the making. It spent a couple of days in my refrigerator, and I don't want to keep it waiting any longer. Today we're going to take a look at the Bidwell Wild. This is the Western New York Wild Ale 2018 version by the Big Ditch Brewing Company. Man, celebrate beer, celebrate Buffalo, right? So this is a wholly unique beer. I'm going to pull up a little bit of info from Untapped and a little bit of info from the back of the bottle, and we'll get into it. So this is a 5.4% ABV with only 11 IBUs. It's not supposed to be some monstrosity. It's awesome. And it's considered an American wild ale. So it says this beer is brewed in collaboration with farmers from the Elmwood Village Farmers Market. Bidwell Wild uses unsold fruit from the farmers as a source of wild yeast and bacteria instead of brewer's yeast. This beer is aged approximately 2 years prior to sale in wine barrels from Leonard Oaks Estate Winery. The result is a sour and complex beer with fruit and berry notes. Really? And I mean, if you take a look at the back of the bottle, brewed in collaboration with farmers from the Elmwood Village Farmers Market, namely Erdel Farms, Don Tower Farm, and Tom Towers Farm Market. Uses berries, peaches, and grapes from the farmers as a source of wild yeast and bacteria instead of brewer's yeast. Aged for 2 years, results in a sour and complex beer with fruit and berry notes. To our knowledge, this beer is the first to be sold using native yeast purposefully collected from Western New York. A portion of these sales will be donated back to the Elmwood Village Farmer Market. If you guys are in the Western New York area, namely Buffalo, namely around downtown, these are available for sale. They didn't seem to be flying off the shelf like I think that initial Ellicottville Farmers Market sort of feeling the waters sort of rate would have suggested. But man, I'll tell you what, really cool bottle. It was wax dipped for to seal, all that good sort of stuff. You mean business. If you're gonna ferment for 2 years, the wax dipping is the way to go. It really is. I'm gonna find my bottle opener and I'll get right back to it. All right, we're back. I was really fortunate enough to grab a couple of these. The first one I grabbed was really for research, and the second one was really to put on the film to show you guys. You know what I mean? I already scored this with a knife, so it's a little bit easier to open on film. Let's see if that plays out well. Yeah, it did. Awesome. So let me show you guys. Now, if you guys do buy them, I've heard a couple of people describing like a really aggressive carbonation, and it kind of spilling out, of the bottle. Both the first one and this one didn't seem to be like that. But when I did pour the first one, you could tell it was really aggressively carbonated. Do you know what I mean? So let's take a look at this thing. Ooh, it has an aroma. So I'm going to tell you right now, before I get into it, if you guys have been around the block, if anybody watching this video has had maybe the Dogfish Head Noble Rot, it's not the same, but it's along very similar lines as the Noble Rot from Dogfish Head. So if if you've had that, or if you've heard of that, then this might not be a bad idea to pick up as well. Anyway, sorry, this is the Bidwell Wild Ale from the Big Ditch Brewing Company. This is the 2018 version. So let's take a look at this thing. Oh, man. Really. This is some sort of it's like a off-peach sort of tan, right? It's hazy. I get slight bits of sediment in there. For the past sort of aggressive carbonation issues, this is just nicely carbonated, but the head, even on the first one, the head just kind of was there and it was gone right away. Do you know what I mean? Ooh, yeah. I get it's a fruit medley. It really is. It's not easy to distinguish. You know that there are a couple of different fruits going on here. You know what I mean? The blueberries are okay. All sorts of those. You know, you get that sort of fructose sort of liquid to the medley. You know what I mean? And you can kind of pull it out in here. Also flowery, and you know, I can't really tell you the flowers. That's not my thing, but you can tell it's very flowery. But I also get these like green woody notes. Do you know what I mean? Maybe from the barrels that they were aged in, but it's kind of, you know, if anybody's ever split wood, a number of different species of wood, you'll know what green wood smells like. Hmm. Overall, just like a cool little fermented fruit concoction. Kind of cool. Definitely not something that you're going to have a lot of experience smelling and looking at and drinking, honestly. Just really. So, let's see what this thing tastes like, right? Cheers. Wow. Wow. Yeah. It's not quite like a lambic sort of presentation to the flavor. If you guys have ever had a lambic, you kind of know what you're getting into. It's fermented fruit sort of you know, alcohol, right? This has a little bit softer sort of angles of flavor. Um, it's a wild ale, right? So there's these fermented fruit sort of flavors. Um, and it's kind of sometimes they're kind of hard to pick out. Sorry, little bug. Kind of hard to pick out because they're fermented. They're a little bit distorted from their natural state. But man, I'll tell you what, they are really, really enjoyable to drink. I think some of the light fruitiness to this drink may be in part to some of that the wine barrels. So whether you want to call maybe like a Chardonnay or like a white wine sort of presentation, sort of vibe to the beer, it's really easy to pull out. Not really like anything oaky or vanilla-y, but more of that Chardonnay white wine. You get that berry sort of presence. Do you know what I mean? You get a little bit of upfront sour tartness to it. You really do. And you get a little back end dryness to the beer. It's a nice combo. It really is. I got some notes here from the first one, so I don't mess it up. I think the mouth feels a little bit on the thin side. Uh, you know, the ABV and the IBUs would lend you to believe that it's going to be sort of a thinner sort of beer, and it really does. It comes across as a thinner style of beer. The 5.4%, I don't know. That might hit the mark. Might seem a little bit on the soft side, and I'm not sure if that's because of the dryness or if it's because of that fermented berry sort of vibe going on. Maybe I'm thinking it's supposed to be more, but it's not. The 11 IBUs I think are, you know, it's neither here nor there. By no means is it anywhere as close to bitter. So the 11 IBUs is probably right on track. Man, oh man, this is, guys, this is a look at Big Ditch's Wild Ale. Bidwell Wild. This has really no sort of hints of a traditional styled beer. It really doesn't, which makes it even more special to purchase and buy. Really, this isn't something that you're gonna see a whole lot of. They're not just gonna whip up, maybe like Lock Series #2, like when FIP just came out last weekend, right? It's not gonna whip up a little FIP #2 batch. Here it is. This took 2 years to ferment, right? So this isn't gonna come out probably ever again. It's amazing. So it's totally its own thing. It's totally kind of to be beheld and enjoyed for really what it is. It's not some sort of New England IPA. It's not some sort of the next big thing in IPA hopness. It is a little celebration of some of the farmers markets from around Buffalo, and they just rocked it. They really did. I don't really know if you could tell, but this is really a nice beer. I totally dug it. And if I were around Big Ditch again soon and I saw it still for sale, I would totally buy it. It would be an easy repurchase for me. So that's it for me, guys, and a little look at the Bidwell Wild. I hope you guys enjoyed the video as much as I enjoyed making it. Maybe you saw it in the store. Maybe you heard about it. Maybe you just didn't want to pony up the money for a bottle. But now you know what it looks like. Now you kind of know what the profile is like. Maybe you can make a more informed decision on maybe purchasing it or not. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video as much as I enjoyed making it, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Cheers.